Alright, welcome to day 3. So I finished this entire case yesterday. So this was ground down. You'll see that this is much thinner, and I think it's a lot more tasteful to have that smaller edge. The edge has been burnished, so you can see that it has relatively smooth face, and I do have that inset piece in there. I also applied Tokonol and water to the inside. So you'll see that rather than having a fairly coarse texture, this is also perfectly smooth. And if I go to put, this is my main camera, or the camera that works, because I haven't gotten around to repairing the second one. That fits in there perfectly. So that is pretty much this part of the project done. Now, yeah, I mean it's solid. The lens weight means that it doesn't exactly sit right. I mean, you can get it to sit, but it doesn't sit either way, even without this. So overall, pretty solid. Now, today the plan is to work on the strapping solution. So this camera comes with these two little triangles for a strap. So the question is whether or not I want to build the strap into the side of the leather case, which I had planned to do, right? Either cutting a hole here or cutting one here, or if I just want to use these straps. And I've come to the conclusion that it's probably a better idea if I just build a thin leather strap that attaches to these rather than to the case directly, because that'll just preserve this integrity. So if you imagine, this is, you'd shoot with your right hand, right? That's where you have your shutter, that's where you have your film advance, right? So if I have this hanging from my side from here, and I have a strap stitched here, you'd have to grab through the strap. Now that is actually the way that the strap works on my Minolta Weathermatic, where you have the strap on the same thing. So this slings over your body, and you have to grab, through this, and it's just not a really comfortable experience. I usually just end up gripping over the strap rather than through it, but overall, I'm not a big fan of that. So I think the other solution would be to put it on this side, but then you run into the issue of, well, it's here, but now when I go to take a picture, the strap now has to cross from this side across my body to the right side. So I suppose if I had designed the harness more intelligently and mounted it so that the camera would be on the left side of my body rather than the right, then that wouldn't be an issue. But that is not how I have my harness set up. So I think instead what I'm going to do is do two individual straps here and here that then meet up somewhere up here, and then have a third little strap that connects that little joint back up. So if I go into my hardware kit real quickly, you see this is the stuff. These are just two pieces of hardware that are identical to the ones that I have currently on my harness. Now the idea is going to be that the main thick strap is going to be attached with this buckle, and you're going to be able to release it and open it up and take it off. And at the end of it, I'll hang this. So leather loop, this is hanging, and then from here you have the two straps to the camera. That way you can kind of interchange, and you can also take off this entire secondary buckle loop if need be. So that's the plan, and I'm going to start with this thicker strap. So I missed a little bit. My thing started coming off. So I've missed that, but I think, yeah, it'll be fine. I can trim it. Alright, so that's a pretty well-trimmed strap for what I'm doing here. Now, because this is going to sit in here and wrap around and then loop through and feed back like that, and this will sit kind of like this with this metal piece hanging there, which is where those two final straps will come from. Because it's going to be like that, I'm not going to be able to burnish this edge once it's in there. So I'm going to trim this strap here. I need to round off this edge. Then I'm going to burnish everything. Because, hey, that's what I got to do. Okay, so it's a little bit off-centered. It's just fairly obvious, but it's fine. I can just trim it symmetrical. So now I'm gonna just apply some water here and on the edges. I'll start with the edges and then I'll do the back side. I'm gonna do that all off camera and come back to you when I have this strap mounted in. Alright, so it might be a bit dark. I'm still wearing a dress shirt. It's what I wore to school today. But I've got my final product, which slings through here. Just as I showed you on day one. Through here. That buttons through. Except now, I've got my camera strap along my body. So, look at that. I've got 2 points of contact on the camera, on where they were before. I've got my leather case, which you've seen, and I've built this whole strap assortment to hold it all. And that just lays back from my side. I don't really have another way to show you, because unless I stand on my rolly chair. Okay, alright. Kind of see that? It's a bit low. It's right beneath my waistline, so my waist is here, and the camera's maybe 2 or 3 inches down. But the benefit of doing it this way, with this strap here, is I can make another hole and then just tighten that up real nice, and it'll be pretty much exactly where I want it to be by my waist side. But look at that. I mean, that's pretty good. It took me, what? It took me 4 or 5 days to make the actual harness and all the stitching and stuff. And then 3 evenings for this. I mean, that's pretty good. So I'm going to cut another hole in this and adjust this, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this project turned out. You can see I look pretty good, you know? I will say that if I wear this with a coat and someone doesn't see the camera, the police might get called. I swear it's not a gun strap, it is a camera harness, but, you know, we're going to see what happens with that. I'm really happy with this. I'm going to take some photos of it. And as I mentioned, I think in the last video, website's coming out soon, and I'll have this in that portfolio. So, thanks guys.